Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is a recap of the regular session of the Itasca County Board of Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, December 13th, and it's about 4:45. So we convened our meeting at 2:30, recited the pledge, and approved our agenda. We had several additions with additional information on our agenda, printed agenda items. This is probably the longest agenda I've seen in a lot of years. We had 22 items on our consent agenda and 14 items on the regular agenda. So immediately we went into our minutes approval of the Tuesday, December 22nd. That was our work session and our regular session, excuse me, and those were approved. On the consent agenda, we had a couple hangar lease renewals at the Bowstring Airport. We accepted a resignation from one of our members on our extension committee, Amy Johnson, and we thanked Amy for all the service that she gave us for the year she was on that committee. It was a great job. Approved extension contract between Grand Rapids, the county and the city of Grand Rapids for use of our generator, the generator that sits right behind our Veterans Service Department building. That generator also gives power to the city of Grand Rapids at City Hall. So we approved that that contract. We approved an addition to a part-time position, which was a .8 position, to a full-time position in the extension office, and they will be providing services for us at the Trailhead building out at the fairgrounds. Extension will be moving out in that area sometime in 2023, so that's a great move. Approved a new tobacco license in the city of Grand Rapids, and then we approved tobacco license and off-sale license for all of those that are under our jurisdiction for 2023. And I'll just say that the list is long, and if anybody's interested, you certainly can go to the county website, pull up our agenda, and you'll see a list of those that are on there for reapproval. Went on and had discussion about children's mental health screening and accepting a grant for $130,657, and that's to be included in our revenue. Authorized our IM Care Director to sign participation agreements in many different areas, all of them surrounding our youth, though. Some of that was for medical, dental, and the other would be for behavioral piece in it as well. Authorized the IM Care Director to we authorized the county board chair to sign a contract between Peter Fridlib as our interim medical director for the county. We need to have a medical director. Adopted resolutions for agreement for federal participation for construction on MnDOT. We approved an OHV Challenge cost share grant renewal. That was a federal grant, and it's to allow us to take the grant and aid trail system across some of the federal lands, especially the trust lands. We adopted a resolution to go out for additional funding for the Balsam Creek Trail improvement and also the Wabana Trail Boardwalk project, and they'll be seeking grants from the IRRB for each of those projects. And finally, we had adopted a sponsorship for the Bowstring Connection Snowmobile Trail and authorized those signatures. So we got a lot on our plate. And lastly, we accepted a date for our land classification and meeting. And this meeting is critical because this is the one meeting a year that the county board looks at all pieces of property that went into the 6th year of tax forfeiture, meaning that they technically and truly legally are tax forfeit at that point. And it's the board's position by statute that we have to make an assignment to each of those parcels on whether or not we want to keep them for particular reasons, such as recreation, maybe it's gravel exploration, or do we turn around and sell it, put it back on the private market. And about 99% of those properties that the board reviews annually goes back into private ownership. So that meeting was set for Tuesday, March 7th, 2023, 10 a.m. right here in the county boardroom. So our consent agenda was long, was lengthy, but it passed, and each of those items will be put to task then. On to our regular agenda, we recognized, or actually opened up for public comment. There was none. Then we moved on and recognized our employees that were either newly hired or leaving our employment for the month. So we truly appreciate all of their service. Next, we accepted our commissioner warrants and passed unanimously. Then we also passed a motion that the chair would accept the warrants because we don't meet on December 27th, and that the board would sign off on those warrants so they could be paid, but they would be under review by our auditor, treasurer, and the rest of the board if necessary. Number 5 on the agenda, we agreed on a general obligation justice center bond, and don't have the figure in front of me, but it's roughly 25 to 27,000 or 27 million, excuse me. And that resolution passed, so we'll be going out for sale of those bonds. Number 6, we approved and passed legislation that affected our the 1% sales tax that we all voted on this fall in November. And so we had the paperwork processed and prepared by our county attorney and our administrator, and that will go into effect April 1st of 2023. Department of Revenue needs 1 quarter advancement so they can prepare what they need to do and get it out to the retail people that would collect the sales and use tax. So that will begin April 1st of 2023. Then we went on to, we had several public health updates. We had a proclamation honoring some of our health and human service employees. We had a IM Care update, and they talked about what the enrollment looked like and what the go-ahead plan would be in the event that the pandemic emergency order is released January 1st, and how that would affect them and the types of duties that they have to perform at that point. And getting lastly on the schedule or on our agenda here, we talked about our 2023 priorities, and we always create a list of what is important to the county and our residents. And we invite our local legislators to the county here, and we have a meeting and share those priorities with them so that they understand what's important. And then we follow that through when they go into session and make sure that we follow through and get proper legislation to address each of those priorities. And lastly, and that meeting actually got set for our legislative meeting, and I believe that is going to be Monday, and I'll get the date here, Monday the 19th of December. And we start at 11 o'clock. So public's invited. It's a posted meeting, and it's an opportunity to hear how the board communicates with our local legislators in terms of those priorities. And lastly, which took a great deal of time, we go through all of our appointments to the committees, commissions, and boards that's necessary statutorily. So we invited the 3 new elected commissioners, county commissioners, and our newly elected auditor treasurer, and they also were part of this discussion because they're involved in these committees as well. So we went through that list and come up at least tentatively on who will sit on these boards and commissions and committees, and that will be officially adopted on our first meeting in January, which is January 3rd. So with that, we had very little commissioner comments, and we recessed our meeting because we will reconvene at 6 o'clock this evening, and it would be our meeting where our public meeting where we adopt our levy, which again was set at 0% for Itasca County for the 4th consecutive year. So tonight we will talk about the 3 different levies that we adopt and take any public comment that might be there, and then we adopt those levies. So thank you, and with this oncoming storm, please be safe.